Hey, listen, have you ever been in a point in your life where you feel stuck? Where you feel that nothing is changing and nothing is moving, and maybe you have a plan, maybe you have a dream, or you have an ambition, or just something that you want to do, whether this is personal or maybe this is in your work, right? Maybe this is your career or your business, or you're trying to make things happen and you're doing your best, but just it doesn't work the way that you want it to, and you feel like you're just kind of spinning your wheels, and it can be so frustrating because sometimes I feel like when it happens to me, and it actually has been happening, to me these last few weeks. I just want to feel like you want to just crawl on the walls because you feel like nothing is going right. You want to take that next step, but you can't figure out what it is, and you're trying everything that you can, but like nothing is working. And you're just there, and you're like asking yourself, like, why is this happening? Like, and what is wrong? And like and why is this, like, is this my fault? Like, what I need to do just to get out of this? And you get all of these tough questions, and you end up feeling so hard for yourself, and you end up being in a place where you're just frustrated and angry, and just upset. And these are just such soul destroying feelings that we have to confront and deal with in our daily life. So, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with frustration, with kind of not being where you wanted to be, with not experiencing the progress that you might be wanting to have in your life, the progress that you're really striving for in your life? How do you really take that next step? And I think it's crucial to acknowledge that when you are experiencing this frustration, that when you have this feeling of the kind of this pent up energy on the inside, it's crucial to know that what you are experiencing is actually the proof that you are moving forward, that this is the sign of progress. I know it sounds so weird when I say that, but the truth is, you would not feel frustrated if you were just in one place doing nothing. The only way to be frustrated with lack of progress is if you are actually moving forward, is if you're trying things, is if you're exploring things, is if you're doing things that aren't really, comfortable for you, because you're only just figuring stuff out and you're trying all of these ideas and seeing what's gonna work. So the fact that you are experiencing the sense of frustration is a sign that you're on the way, is the sign that you are actually doing things, and it may not be working out as you expect them to. I know some of these ideas might not be going to plan, but you're on the way. You are making things happen. So what you're experiencing is not only normal, but expected. Now, the difference is, like, where frustration becomes a problem for all of us is not when we experience it, because this is normal. And it should be, I guess, a situation where you say, well, yes, I'm experiencing frustration, and it's because I'm not where I want to be. But what I need to do next? Instead of transitioning into that, we get sometimes stuck in this feeling. We get to kind of wallow in pity or feel sorry for ourselves. And I know I do that all the time. And I kind of feel, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I in this place, right? So this is, I guess, what happens when we either kind of put aside and try to ignore it, right? Or when we kind of just march on regardless. And and this is when we end up, berating ourselves for all those things that we could have done or should have done, or things that didn't go to plan, right? So we want to be able to a place where we experience frustration and we kind of let it go. We don't want to hold on to it, because this is when it starts to really get to you. It starts to just upset you. It starts to wind you up. It puts you to a place where you are stuck in this kind of one place, and you are not moving forward, right? So we want to be able to get ourselves outside of that, right? We want to be able to really kind of find a way to get through it. And the way to do it is really to tell ourselves a different story, right? Because when we are frustrated, we have all of these, kind of explanations and all of these kind of reasons that sometimes are not really true, right? Sometimes we tell them to ourselves to really explain what's not right or wrong. And often they're not kind to yourself. They're not kind to the progress that you are making. They're not kind to the effort and the energy that you put in. How hard you are trying. How hard you're trying to figure things out, right? So it's really crucial to really put the right spin on it, right? I know it sounds weird, like putting a spin on it, but if you're telling yourself a story, right? And we are always doing that, right? We always end up telling stories to ourselves, right? If you are telling a story to yourself, then you might as well tell a good one. You might as well tell yourself the story that helps you to move forward. You might as well tell yourself the story that helps you to figure things out, one that takes you forward instead of holding you back. That's what is crucial. And that is the way out of frustration. Now, as well as telling that story to yourself, which we're going to get into how to do that in a second, but also this is why it might be helpful to tell this story to someone else. Whether you have someone that you trust and you feel comfortable with, whether that's your friend, whether that's someone from your family, whether that's your partner, whether that's someone that you work with, right? It's so crucial to find a way to tell them. Like I was talking to a friend last night, and it just felt so great to just kind of open up and talk about it. And he gave me some great advice. But even if, for example, you are not in a place where you have a great kind of support system for yourself with friends and family, it's so important to sometimes to just talk to someone that maybe you don't even know that well, that will be able to listen. And something interesting happens when you talk about your frustrations, your challenges. What happens is you kind of let it out. And when you speak it out loud, you're able to kind of look at it and make sense of it in the process. So you'll be able to see things in a different way yourself, even without any kind of input from someone telling you about it. You'll be able to gain a new perspective. You'll be able to look at it in a different way. And that is something that you could even try for yourself if you don't feel comfortable talking about, because sometimes those things are personal, right? It might be, for example, from my past, I know I was so frustrated at one point of my life when I was really single, and I was desperate to meet someone. I wanted to fall in love, and I had no idea what I was doing, and things weren't going the right way. And for a while, I didn't really feel comfortable just talking about it to people, like, because it's so personal and it felt so awkward. Like, and what do you even say? So I started even to talking about it to myself. I started to go on walks and just kind of explain it out loud, and to be able to kind of accept it and to feel that this is what I'm experiencing, this is a sense of frustration, allowed me to take control of it. This is what happens when you start to speak it out loud, whether this is to yourself or to somebody else. You allow yourself to feel things. You allow yourself to be okay with experiencing this emotion. You allow yourself to go, you know what? It's not the end of the world. It's just a part of my life right now. It's where I'm at. I've tried to get out of it. It hasn't worked so far. I'm trying to find a way forward. or maybe thing hasn't turned out as I wanted them to, but it doesn't mean that I won't get there. I'll have to figure out a way. But first, we gotta allow yourself. You gotta allow yourself to feel that this is normal and to figure out, well, are there any roadblocks right now? Is there something that I could try that could help me to get through it? Is there something that I might do differently? And if you're trying to do something that is very particular and very specific, like a certain approach that has been really frustrating you, that sometimes, maybe you want to say, well, maybe I'll just set it aside for a moment and I'll come back to it later. You don't need to throw anything away, but maybe you either take a break from it, or maybe you're gonna come back and look at it in a different way. For example, right now I'm trying to reach more organizations to form partnerships and work together and do great things and make a difference in a big way. And I feel like I've maybe been going about it in the wrong way, and I think I need to do things differently. And there's a part of me that also thinks, well, maybe I should put it aside for a few days and do something different, and then I'll come back to it with just a fresh perspective, with just a different outlook. I've given myself a little break, and then I'm gonna come back to it and figure it out. Because sometimes we just need a little bit of headspace to be creative, to figure things out. When we can step out, come back in and go, okay, now I've put it aside, I'm back. And now back on what can I do? And I think it's so crucial to really do that for yourself. Because we think in those moments of frustration, you feel like, oh, like it will never happen, and I'm so far away from what I want. And oftentimes that is just not the case. Maybe you are this close. And oftentimes, I found that's often the case. You're this close to having a breakthrough. You're this close to just making a real change and just figuring stuff out. You're this close to just getting to the next level of wherever you're going or wherever you want to be. And it's just about using the creativity in you to figure things out. Because you've got that, right? You've been in plenty of difficult situations before, haven't you? You've been in moments where, like nothing went right. Where you've been in situations where you felt like everything was just kind of just falling to pieces, and no matter what you did, like just nothing worked. You've been in those places. You found a way to get through it. You figured things out, and you have enough creativity and enough, enough of belief in yourself to do that again, right? Even if you are frustrated, just know that you are enough. After everything that you've been through, you have enough creativity, enough power in you to figure things out. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you to really kind of open up about what you're going through, even if it's talking this out to yourself, to accept that frustration is a normal part of progress. It's a sign that you're going in the right direction, and to be able to not hold on to it, but to release it, right? To find ways to put something aside and do something different and come back to it. Or to use your creativity to try something different, something that maybe you haven't tried before, something that you can get excited about, something that will get you kind of fired up, that you can do now, that will help you to get to the next stage of where you want to get to. I hope this helps you. I hope this serves you. My name is Joe Bakhmutsky. Thank you so much for being here.